Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to TML. We are here tonight for round 11 of season number 8 as we take in the Mexican Grand Prix from the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. My name, as you can tell, is James Head. It's been a while since we've been on the good old OBS, but we are back here tonight, of course, sponsored by Next Level Racing, as always. And I am here to take you through solo commentary. Unfortunately, Alex the G, as I mentioned last night on EML, is not here tonight. So therefore, you've got me for an hour and a half. And hopefully it's going to be a much more entertaining hour and a half than sitting and watching Matt Hancock drown himself on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Looking through what happened, of course, last week in Singapore. It was quite a dramatic race, actually, in Singapore in terms of driving standards and in terms of, obviously, racing as well. Lynx took the win from Jerry in second. Elliott there in third. Black Box had an absolute nightmare in qualifying and indeed in the race. So Black Box out of the top three for, I think, one of the first times all season. And that means Elliott, of course, does gain them in terms of the championship standings. And speaking of the championship standings, very neatly, I've just done that. Black Box leads the way on 226 points. Now he can win the championship here tonight. And that is because, as long as he outscores Elliott by no matter how many points, he will wrap up the championship because he's got a 33-point advantage going into next week. And, of course, 31 points will be available, and that includes the fastest lap point. So, basically, think of it this way. 64 points now available on the line, and Black Box just needs to really outscore Elliott by no matter position. He can finish first, he can finish second, and still finish ahead of Elliott, and he wraps up the championship very neatly indeed, because any points scoring matter will be mathematically possible going into next week in Abu Dhabi. Elliott, as I mentioned, in second on 193. He's got to basically hope for the role reversal of Black Box last week. Black Box had an absolute nightmare. Hopefully, he'll be hoping for another one of those, I think, tonight. Elliott there in second on 193. He has got very good pace around this track, so we predict him to go well here along with Black Box and along with our resident Carl Mentelis, who took pole position, of course, in Singapore and was up there until, unfortunately, the rain came and his game decided to mess his strategy over. Lynx, by the way, in third on 128 points. Cosby in fourth on 123. Harry Banks in fifth on 106. Jerry sixth on 105. He's not here tonight. Volakonga in seventh on 94. Hawk in eighth on 91. Neymar ninth on 79. And then Commensus in 10th on 75. Perhaps going to be scoring 100 points before the end of the season. Scott Bugner, Nathan Vanderberg, Samuel Lecala, Forza Brendan top 15. And then it's Chicken, Dalfi, Yona, Nipro, and Iton are the top 20 drivers that have scored so far this season. Constructor standings as well on the right-hand side. Ferrari leading the way on 360 points. Now, things are a lot more tricky in terms of the constructor standings for both first and second in the championship. AlphaTauri will be hoping, of course, to try and get back on the level playing field as per the Ferrari boys who've been very consistent this season, both Elliott and Colesbury. And, as I say, Ferrari ideally need to outscore. It's about a 30-point margin, I think, that a 40-point margin that they need. I think it's something like 40... maybe even more than that. It might be even more, and it looks impossible, I think, mathematically for Ferrari, unless both AlphaTauris, of course, decide to have an absolute mare out on track. Ferrari might just take the constructors as well tonight, but I think that is a little bit more impossible. But running through the rest of the constructor standings, Ferrari 316 points, AlphaTauri 301, 15-point gap between them. Aston Martin in third on 158, McLaren fourth on 145, then Red Bull in fifth on 117. Haas in 6th on 100, Alpine in 7th on 82, Mercedes in 8th on 72, Alfa Romeo in 9th on 48, and Williams in 10th on 45 points. Harry Banks has just said in the Discord that his PlayStation's not connecting him to the internet, unfortunately. That's a little bit of a strange one. He knows that his internet is working. Hopefully, he'll be able to get that up very soon indeed. Dara Smith as well has also asked for an invite. In fact, he has just joined along with Elliot. Currently, only 10 drivers in the lobby. For Top Tier Racing and TML, I've got to say it is pretty disgraceful. We have got a very low attendance once again for Top Tier Racing. I'm going to publicly say this as well. On the live stream, we had a driver today that informed us that he had signed up to another league and hasn't attended the last 3 weeks. So if you are that person who was watching in the chat, then you should really be ashamed of yourself, first and foremost. I'm not going to name names. You can probably guess who it is, judging by the lack of attendance in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And really, if you do want to do that, going into next season, in Season 9, where the sign-ups, of course, are going to be out very soon indeed, obviously, that is going to have to be cut down from our end, certainly as league directors, as well as from drivers' perspective, because we only want to take on drivers who are here, who want to have a little bit of fun, who want to take it seriously, who want to try and get the best out of themselves, as well as the best out of other drivers. We want to take them on. If you are a time waster, and if you've been very low in attendance, no matter what tier you are tuning in from, then obviously things are going to change, and they will change very rapidly, of course, going into season number 9. And I can't really tell you much more about season number 9, otherwise I'll probably be cut off this live stream potentially. So those are the standings, those are the constructors we've already run through. Let's have a look then at the track map in question. It looks like we've got a little bit of a delay for Harry Banks trying to join the session. Saying he's wired in, so maybe it's just the case with his PS4 not picking up, PS5 potentially not picking up the internet. But Mexico City Grand Prix, Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, 4.3 kilometers and then 2.6 mile, 17 turns away to now drivers out on track, 3 DRS zones, 1 down the start from the straight, 1 down in towards turn number 4, and then 1 down in towards the Feather Soul at turn number 12. And looking at, of course, the racing that could be had around here. It should be quite interesting. I've commentated quite a lot on Mexico this week, and I've got to say, most of the races around there have been pretty good. So hopefully, F1 might just book the trend once again, and hopefully we will get going very soon indeed. I'm going to take you live into the lobby just to see the state of play at this moment in time. If you are tuning in, by the way, for TML F2, unfortunately, once again, due to commentator unavailability, there is no live stream once again tonight for F2 on the channel. I desperately tried to get commentators in, both from inside and outside the league. Nobody was available, unfortunately, and therefore F2 once again is going to have no stream. Potentially, it might be we have a live stream next week. I wouldn't really count yourself on what I've just said there, though. I think F2 might not have a live stream again next week as well. But that is the situation in the lobby at the minute. Harry Banks has just joined. Harry Banks has just joined. That is good. Fantastic stuff. He is already here, and it looks like we are pretty much good to go. He selected this car. I can see him in the lobby on my end. Hopefully everyone can see him on his end as well. Hawk is asking if anybody has got Forza Brendan on a 1-bar. Yes, we have. He's Irish. I'm not really surprised he's on a 1-bar, to be honest. He is Irish. And that is probably why he's on a 1-bar. I know they've got pretty bad weather conditions over there in Ireland, and due to the rain and the heavy rain that's going on at this stage in Ireland. I think Forza Brendan might be in a part of Ireland where he is getting hit. Maybe in the west of Ireland, perhaps. And yeah, Forza Brendan is on a 1-bar for me, but we should be good to go very soon indeed. Comment us there in the chat. Good evening to everyone, by the way, that is tuned in to the chat. Keep me company first and foremost. There is a poll, by the way. For the first time all season, I've managed to figure out who has got the poll. 43% of you at this stage say Black Box to take pole position. Commensus on 14, Elliot on 14. 29% of you have voted for other, but you haven't put your comment section in. I think one of them might be Dara, who has voted for himself, obviously, which I think is really defeating the object. I think there's been 2 votes in. Whoever that other person is, let me know who you are, and of course, we will read it out as we go through the stream tonight. But we are good to go. We are just readying up now in the lobby, as you can see on your screen. 9 people watching, which is really good. And Dara has said midday. Yeah, we had midday last night in Mexico for EML, and I don't think that was actually taken. That was actually given to the division admins. So I think midday weather conditions is probably perfect. Obviously, it just gives everyone on a an even playing field. So what I'm going to do is just going to mute my mic for a second. I'm going to send out a bit of communication, and then I'll be back in a minute. There we go. My bit of communication, I think this came a little bit too late there. And yeah, midday was voted for in EML Premier. I certainly got asked to put it on in terms of the shadows. The shadows and the braking zones around this track are pretty dire. So obviously, it has been taken a decision. It looks as if we're going to be looking at realistic weather conditions. So obviously, drivers are going to have that extra test if that is the case. There is a little bit of an argument, I think, going on, considering what I've just said, that we had midday in both EML Premier 2s, which we did. We did last night. I checked with Colin Mason, who was host for EML Premier 2. They also had midday weather conditions as well. And normally, when we have midday weather conditions at EML, it normally translates to TML as well. Obviously, that little bit of communication was not put out, but it looks like we're going to have to get going with realistic conditions into the midday tonight, which it's not too bad. It is not too bad at all. Looking at everyone as well in the live stream, May saying as well, good luck entering EML. Yeah, EML has been quite good this season, I've got to be honest. The races have been getting better towards the end of the season. Mexico last night was pretty good in terms of overtaking. Quite a lot of a challenge as well for some of the drivers in terms of their skill, in terms of wet to dry compound tyre. And obviously, we are going to get going very soon indeed for this qualifying session. I feel like I haven't left Mexico this week, even though I'm in a small house somewhere in the northeast. Hawk is the first man to leave out on track. Now, Hawk has been complaining quite a lot about driving standards in F1. So have I, to be honest, because I want to see... I know that these guys are capable of delivering a lot better. I know these guys are also capable of delivering their best on their day. Hawk is one of those guys. He's been caught up in a few incidents recently, though. But Hawk is the first man out on track, coming through the left-hander turn number 2, through the right-hander of turn number 3. And 25% of you now saying one Elliott as well for pole position, which is interesting. I will close the poll towards the midpoint of qualifying, and then I'll put another poll up towards the end of qualifying. Who will win the championship? Will it be Black Box or will it be Elliott? We will decide that potentially tonight here in Mexico. If Elliott, of course, outscores Black Box by more than 4 points, he is mathematically still in contention because it'll only be 29 points. But Black Box, as long as he outscores Elliott by no matter what point score, he will wrap up the championship because it is mathematically possible for him if, obviously, the permutations go that way. Because Hawk, as I say, is the first man out on track. He is going to take on 4.3 kilometre circuit of the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, also known as the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, to give it its full name, to give it its proper name as well. F2 as well looks as if they are restarting the lobby at this stage. I'll try and give F2 as much as possible a little bit of an insight, but Hawk now coming through into the pit lane. Hawk is in the pits. Folder Brendan has just left the session. I wonder if we're getting a restart here, maybe. I don't know. Felix Swan has just started up on lap on the run down in towards turn number 1. Now he's the driver I got confused with last night with I think it was not Alex the G, because he was alongside me in the comments. It was one of the NLR boys last night. I think it might have been Garufo who was doing the no assist. Obviously Felix Swan is that no assist man in NLR. See, I get confused from the best of times. Hawk has retired into the session. I think he's got a qualifying ban if I'm not mistaken. I had looked at the series reports a little bit earlier on as Felix Swan through the first second split, 28.4. We'll turn off the time on the left-hand side because there's not really anybody on lap bar him. It's Felix Swan now coming in towards the right-hander of turn number 6. Another one that has been, of course, getting used to and grips to the wheel, grips to the no assists as well. Felix Swan now comes to the left-hander through 7, through 8, through 9. And then in towards turn 10, 11. Oh, a huge snap of oversteer. That might just be recovery of the season. That was incredible held there from Felix Swan through the middle sector. It's still not too bad. 56.8 in the middle sector. He's a little bit down on where we would expect pole position to be. It was a 14.8, by the way, last night in EML Premier 1 from FDR Louis to give a little bit of insight in towards pole position around here. Forza Brennan has managed to rejoin the session. It's now Felix Swan around the final corner on the run towards the line. And it's a 1:16.2 to start off the night. We will see potentially drivers into towards the 1:14s by the end of that, as Yona, I think, is going to be one of the next to come across the line. Neymar goes second with the 16.8, and Yona is going to be the third on a lap. Of course, won here in Mexico in F2 last season, and Yona now coming through and goes pole, 16.1 for now. Comentalist also on a lap. He's coming through the final corner through Peraltada on the run toward the line, and may the 11% of you rejoice, because Comentalist now out on top by 0.4 of a second. Yona there in second, Felix Swan there in third. Ruti is on a lap as well. He's another one that potentially could pick up pole position here. He is a very quick man, very consistent in terms of his driving as well. At the moment, Black Box on an outlap. Championship leader on an outlap, coming through turn number 12. We'll run above with him shortly, but hopefully you are doing well. I have just realised, by the way, you've now put another vote in as well, saying other. Maybe that is that man for Yona, maybe it's someone else, who knows. Black Box now coming through the final corner. And on the run toward the line, I think Lynx and Dara had backed off their laps. Ruti was certainly invalidated, I think, coming to the final sector, as Dara comes across the line and actually beats Commenta's lap time by 0.9 of a second. So not too bad at all, but this is really the battle for pole position at the stage. Elliot is also on that lap. He's coming to the final sector now. Black Box in towards turn 1, through the left-hand of turn number 2, through the right-hand of turn number 3, through the S's de Largo. Now coming through in towards the left-hand of turn number 4, where I've seen plenty of moves overtaking. Black Box is 28.5 in the first sector. Not that quick from Black Box through the first sector. We should be seeing more the 28.1s, 28.2s potentially around the middle sector. And now Black Box coming through this middle sector in toward the left-hander of turn number 7, looking good through there, through the right-hander of 8, through the left-hander of 9, and then through the right-hander of turn 10, through turn 11. That was beautiful from Black Box. Now coming through the middle sector split, and it's 56.4, so he's up there in the middle sector, going quicker than Darrow, I think, going quicker than Comentas. He now comes in towards the Forest Soul, through turn 13, through the right-hander of 14. That sun is really off-putting coming through 14. That's why you should have voted for midday. Coming through the final corner on the run toward the line with the championship leader, and he goes pole by 0.06 of a second. Elliot, for reference, 28.3 through the first sector, so he's already a 10.5 up through the first sector on Black Box. Middle sector split, what's it going to be like? And it is a 56.2, so he's still 0.3 of a second now ahead. And Black Box coming through the Forest Soul, so looks good so far for the Frenchman. Comes in toward the left-hand return number 13. Doesn't have to worry about Team Talent Factory tactics potentially tonight as well. Lynx, I don't think is going to be up there, as Elliot on the run towards the line. Goes quickest, and that is more like it. 15.4 from Black Box's to Black Box's 15.7. A good 2.5 chunk between Elliot and Black Box. Elliot down on top. Black Box in second. Dareth Smith in third, as Harry Banks is just starting up, I think. On a lap was an invalid 16.4. I think that was. Duffy, by the way, went 7th as well. Neymar and Felix Swan are back on their outlaps. Black Box is not going to go for another run, so it is currently Elliot, Black Box, Dara, your top 3 with 7 minutes gone in this qualifying session. Yeah, Elliot out on top, Black Box second, Dara there in third. Of course, championship can be wrapped up tonight if you are just tuning in to the live stream here for TML F1. F2, by the way, if you are wanting to tune in for that. Sadly, no commentators available once again, which is a real shame because we have had a lot of driving talent, a lot of commentating talent this season on League Racing TV, also on the streams as well, on EML and on TML and on other leagues as well, which is covered on the channel. And I have just been informed by one man in the lobby, I'm not going to name who, might be up towards the top end of the field. Wet in the race is what he has said. This mystery man has said, wet in the race. And no wonder everyone is on a set of soft compound tyres at this stage. And Yona is not one of the first on a lap. It is Felix Swan on a lap. Neymar's just coming through turn 3 as well. Neymar looking good there in 8th position, 16.8, currently his best, around about 1.3 seconds off the pace. But Felix 1 now, much improved, considering he obviously absolutely butchered himself in Britain 2 weeks ago in EML Premier. Really good to see him actually really taking the assist, the no assist really seriously as he comes through the middle sector space. That's more like it again. Obviously, lap upon lap he will improve. 10.5 up now, coming through at the right hand of turn 12 in toward the Father Soul once again. 9 minutes gone in qualifying, 9 minutes to go, and we'll close the call in around 30 seconds. Elliot on top, Black Box in second, Darryl there in third. We'll close the call when Neymar gets to the end of his lap, as Felix 1 just decided to come in the pit lane, and that was a cut over the pit lane exit there as well. Neymar's backed up his lap, so I'm going to do the honours now and close the poll, and the poll stands as it is. Black Box on 40%, other, please comment on 30%. None of you commented, so harsh for yourselves really there. Elliot on 20% and Commentless on 10% of the vote. And I'm now going to put up a second poll. Who will win the championship tonight? And that is, of course, going to be between, not Block Box, as I was going to put there, Black Box, and one Elliot's. So there we go. And that is another vote that has just gone live. Ruti, by the way, was on the lap. He's invalidated in the middle sector. Forza Brendan has just started up on a lap. Our resident Brenda just starting up on a lap. Dara Smith was improving in the middle sectors and validated, I think, just before the S section. Commentus, though, is on a lap. Of course, took pole position last week in Singapore. Looking to try and go, well, I would say one better once again. Trying to, obviously, really try and give himself a really good qualifying session once again here. Through turn number 9, through the right hand of turn number 10, through the left hand of 11. Pretty much on the limit. Didn't get away with that, unfortunately. We saw that on the stream. 200s down. He's going to back off, I think, possibly going back into the pit lane as well. Yeah, who will take pole position in qualifying is now the poll that is currently in play. And I'm going to put my vote in. And my vote has just gone in. Which is unfortunately what every single one of you has improvement as well. But yeah, Elliot can't win the championship tonight, but he can certainly put himself in with a shout of winning the championship. That's what I'm meaning about the question. If Elliot does obviously produce a good performance, and I mean his first sector, 400's up, 28.2 is the fastest out of everyone in the first sector. If this qualifying session goes the way it is, Blackbox might just have something to think about here, as Ruti, big spoiler in the party, goes quickest, 15.4. Did say he was quick around here. The Scuderia Rosso man is now out on top. Elliot there in second, Black Box there in third. But Black Box is the only one that can win the championship tonight. Elliot, though, if Black Box DNFs, he's only 4 points behind. 3 points, of course, if that is the fastest lap as well. Brendan once again leading the session. 56.1 from Elliot in the middle sector, though, coming to the left hand of turn 13. But yeah, I've really misstepped the mark, I think, in terms of that poll, to be honest. Just vote Black Box. Just vote Black Box. Get away with it. Elliot to the line. Doesn't improve. Had a bit of a moment coming out of Peril Tara. And still 300s down on Ruti, who's now gone, of course, quickest. Harry Banks is not on a lap. I think he might be on an out lap here, potentially, the Aston Martin man. But yeah, it is going to be interesting to see what goes on in the race. Nobody, I don't think, has complained about anything in F1. F2, by the way, are having a having a bit of an issue, I think, in terms of that. Simply Superman is also saying weather should be dry, not dynamic. So a little bit of controversy maybe going on in F2. If anybody is watching the if anybody is in F2 and is just happening to tune into this live stream, please do us a favour and take the race results at the end of the race, please, because we haven't been getting them over the last couple of weeks. But yeah, hopefully we can get that sorted. As I say, no streaming tonight because of personal reasons for Storm, and also because of a lack of other commentators that were available as well. With 5 minutes to go in the session, Ruti out on top, Elliot second, Blackbox there in third. Harry Banks was on that, but he's invalidated at this moment in time. Let me know in the comment section, by the way, who you are supporting here tonight. I have a feeling many of you are going to be supporting one Elliot there in the chat, currently in second position. Rooty there out on top at this moment in time as well. The Finn has been delivering good performances in other leagues in the past. Mexico does seem to be one of his strongest tracks. And we'll have to wait and see what happens in the final stages of this qualifying session, as Yona is now the first man to go on potentially a final run. Rooty, Elliot, Blackbox top 3, as I've just flicked on comments, it's by mistake, apologies about that. Yona and Felix 1 are on outlaps at this moment in time. What can the Red Bull man do? Currently in 6th position, TML F2 champion of course last season, and has not really, to be honest, I mean, I'm one of Yona's real fans, and I'm going to criticise him here, and I think he hasn't delivered the performances what we expected. A, because it's been a much stronger field than last season, and B, Yona just doesn't seem to actually gain and grasp this game as well as what one might have hoped. I mean, on the last game, he was quick. Really, really stunning on the last game in F2. Produced performance after performance after performance and wrapped up the championship. This season, on this game, this is not to his liking. And I can tell you that from his own personal experience he's been telling me in the background about it. But Yona now trying to put those demons aside of him. Comes through the final corner, through Peril Tardo at turn 17, on the run toward the line. We'll turn the timing tower off on the left-hand side. Links and Felix 1 about to start the match as well. Yona is coming down on the run towards turn number 1, already gaining maybe in excess of around 205 to 210 mile an hour. 207 means he's got a cornering setup on. Through the right-hand return number 1, through the left-hand return 2, through the right-hand return number 3. It's so difficult to get that wrong. That's exactly what he's done. He's got that completely wrong. Backs off, he's still valid on the lap. There is Neymar behind him as well at this moment in time. But there is Felix 1 coming through the first sector split, and we'll see what he is doing in this first sector split. And a 28.3 is up there in the first sector, so not too bad, not too shabby at all. Through the right-hander of turn number 5, in towards the double right of turn number 6. Well, of course, last night he didn't tune in for EML Premier 1. Louis and, forgive me, one of the NLR boys, I think it was Axel, if I'm not mistaken, Axelino, was side by side. Oh, as that Felix 1 has a huge snap on the curb. Coming through turn 7, nearly Leclerc-esque in Friday Practice 2 in Mexico this season. Felix 1 backing off that lap, and he spins again. Those tyres absolutely shot to bits, and Felix 1 not going to be getting a lap in. He has got 2 minutes to try and warm those tyres back up on the racing line, but he is going to be in deep trouble, I think, with that, as Neymar just about to start up on a lap. Lynx is on a lap though, 28.4. He was saying in the chat a little bit earlier that he's got absolutely zero pace and expect him to be last. Well, he's second last at this stage, and he can't be last because Hawk is obviously in with a qualifying ban after tonight, I believe. And looking at the steward's office, yeah, he did get an impeding in qualifying ban. A qualifying ban for impeding in quali last week in Singapore, and that was as a result of Harry Banks, what we caught obviously on the stream. Felix 1 is done in terms of his session. Links coming through the middle sectors, not looking too quick at all. The McLaren now coming through the final couple of corners, in through Peril Todd at turn 16, of course, where Vern and Piquet famously made contact in 2018, I think it was, in Formula E around here. Links goes 6th, not too bad, 15.9 on the board from him. Comments is just starting up on a lap. Dara Smith, I think, is just starting on a lap. He is indeed. Black Box, though, 28 through in the first sector. So the Atari man coming through turn number 9, through the right hand of turn number 10, through the left hand of turn 11. That was much more committed, much better, much neater from Black Box through the middle sector. 56.2 up there on par with Elliot's middle sector. And this looks good now from the Brit as he now comes through in toward the Foresol. Championship leader needs this pole position ideally to land himself with a big opportunity in the race. Through the final corners of Peril Tarda, through 16, through 17, on the run toward the line. Black Box doesn't go quickest, he goes second somehow. 15.4. Rooty is 900 up in the first sector, he wouldn't be getting close. Elliot is invalidated. His session is done. He's back in the pit lane, is Elliot, and I think he hit the wall on the right hand side there as well. Dara Smith a 10th and a half up. Commentalus now on the run to the line. He goes 4th, 15.5. Not too bad at all. Rooty out on top, Black Box second. Elliot there in third. Rooty is the one to watch out for, I think, at this stage. Through the middle sector split. He's 2 tenths up 56 flats in the middle sector is a huge improvement in the middle sector. This is only going one-way traffic. Rooty through the final couple of corners. As long as he stays within the white stuff, he's going to be on pole here. Through the final corners, on the run toward the line. Maybe a 15-2? Oh, 15-2 from Rooty. Great lap from him. Black Box has backed off. Commentus is not on lap either, as Dara Smith has gone second. Good lap from Dara. Yona has backed off. Neymar is backing up as well. Harry Banks has just gone for a spin through turn 11. And that, my friends, is the end of qualifying. A little bit of a pedantic end to that qualifying session, but it is Rooty out on top. And if you were part of the 30% that said other, please comment. Rooty out on top is that other man. I did say he had good pace around here. Should have really put him in instead of Commenter, so I knew Goltifi was not going to try and strike once again. Rooty though out on top, Dara in second, Black Box in third at the end of that qualifying session. And as I say, Harry Banks still on the lap, and Commenter has run out of fuel as well. Jamie saying, yeah, a bit of a hard season. I think that's in relation to Yona, which I totally agree with. I think it has been a really hard season. Has been a hard season for few, to be honest. A few favourites, potentially at the start of the season. Even ones that have joined mid-season. Jerry, for example, if he joined at the start of the season, would have been a contender coming into the final 2 rounds of the championship, being very quick, obviously, this game. Neymar as well, along the same boat. He's just not found the pace in this game. This is also one thing I'm having a hard time with. Roy God there, who has recently left his team, if I'm not mistaken. I saw that in the self-promotion chat on the TML Discord a little bit early on. His comments is now retired. We can now run you through the full grid order in just a second. Should come up on your screen around about now. It's Rooty out on top by 0.2 of a second from Dara Smith in second. Blackbox in third with Elliot in fourth. Commentus there in fifth. Yona in sixth. Lynx in seventh. Neymar in eighth. Felix Swan in ninth. Delphi in 10th. Harry Banks in 11th. Hawk somehow, with a qualifying ban, has ended up 12th. Don't really get that. It's because Falls of Brendan had not had a lap time because of connection issues. Falls of Brendan at the back of the field. Hawk there in 12th. Counters Lucky Stars, and he's actually not starting from the back of the field. We are going to be back, though, in 30 seconds after intermission from our sponsors. NLR will be back in 30 seconds. Dead on time. There we go. We are back. We are right here for the Mexican Grand Prix. It is the penultimate round of TML Season 8. And how we want to go out with 2 big bangs of races, of course, here in Mexico. And then next week, of course, in Abu Dhabi for the season finale. 30 seconds until the countdown. I have just got to realise that I need to end the poll. Thank you, by the way, to that one vote for 10% of Elliot's votes. 90% going to Black Box on that. And yeah, 10% going for Elliot. Thank you to that one person. I really, really understand what might happen tonight. Might go Elliot's way. But the 5 red lights are now hopefully about to come on. We are waiting for plays. There we go. The 5 red lights are now coming on here. Mexican Grand Prix. Penultimate round of the championship. And it is lights out and away we go, and Rita gets a very good start off the line. Dara is a little bit slow and he could be under pressure from Black Box off the line as well, but Rita on the run, down in towards turn number 1 will lead the way. Black Box there trying to tuck now out of the slipstream on Dara, tries to get the job done around the outside and towards turn number 1. Slow start from Falls of Brennan, keeping out of the way at the back of the field, which is good. Rita though leads the way. Dara Smith in second, Black Box in third, Elliot there in fourth. Everyone is clean through the chicane, which is very good stuff indeed. Hawk keeping out of his nose as well. He's on the back of Delphi, right down the back end of the field. Great stop by everyone. Commentus now on the back, coming in towards turn number 4. Tries to get the job done, and that's Yona driving it down the inside line of Lynx. Tries to get the job done around the outside. All of them on a set of hard compound of tyres at this stage, and Yona still fighting with Lynx. Coming through the right-hand turn number 6. Falls completely out wide. Takes a Freddie Rasmussen line through there. And now Black Box and Elliot, the two title contenders. And that might be crucial because Black Box has held on to the position for third. Elliot there into fourth. Crucial for Black Box stays ahead of Elliot in this early stage. Rooty though and Dara Smith are up the road by 0.4 of a second. The gap between the leader and the second. Black Box there in third. Elliot in fourth. Commentus there in fifth. Still battles going on further down the field. Harry Banks and Hawk not going to get in contact like they did last week in Singapore. Everyone keeping it clean through. I don't think anybody has made contact on this first lap. Great stuff from our boys here in TML. Rooty out on top. Dara Smith in second. Black Box in third. And dare I not curse it now, cleanest towards turn number 1. As apologies, we lost the stream there, I think, slightly, but I was saying Rooty leads the way down in towards turn number 1. Dara there in second, Black Box there in third. Dalfi right on the back of Felix Swan, looking under pressure is the Mercedes man. As I was saying there, cleanest start of the season so far. Brilliant stuff by everyone. And now Dalfi sets his sight on Felix Swan down the straight. Already running very low fuel. This was a theme last night with Garufo in NLR. He ran out of fuel coming to the Parasol section. So if anybody's been watching EML last night or tonight, then obviously you will see that running out of fuel is not the best thing. And in fact, Dalfi and Neymar, and sorry, Nyona, I should say, it's Commentus the spin. Commentus the spins coming through the chicane of turns 7 and 8 through the SS section there. Just about get out of the way. Falls to Brendan, I think, having a bit of a gentleman's agreement there between them both. Clearly in the same party, I think, both the Irishman and the Brit. I think Falls to Brendan was going to make contact with him there. He avoided him just about, but a bit of a gentleman's agreement. That's what we like to see. Rooty out on top, Dara Smith in second, Black Box in third. DRS now enabled at the end of lap number 2. Black Box there ahead of Elliot. But what is Elliot going to do down the straight? Does he have a more straight line speed, potent setup? Looks as if down in the straight line, yes he does. He's on the back, not using up any EOS at this stage. And running down in towards turn 1, not going to get the job done. Dalfi in the meantime on the back of Felix Swan once again, trying to get the job done to the inside of turn number 1. Doesn't get the job done. Might take about a 3. There's a car out wide there. I think that was Yona running out wide. A couple of cars ahead. And Felix Swan as well under pressure still from Dalfi as the leaders. Rooty, Dara still 0.3 of a second the gap. Now Black Box and Elliot beginning to get into their rhythm. They are now beginning to come into contention here as well. And Black Box now within a second of Dara Smith ahead. It was just about out of a second the last lap around, so he is gaining now in terms of his timing. Clearly, in terms of his setup, so far so good in terms of working at this stage with Elliot chasing him down there in fourth, and they're already trying to pull the big old DRS train to Lynx, and Lynx has dropped out of DRS range there as Felix Swan has now been overtaken by Dalfi. Must have been a mistake there from the Mercedes man. And Dalfi through and he's into 8th. Felix Swan in tonight. I don't know why I went high pitch there all of a sudden. Apologies about that. I thought it was dog for some second there. Rooty though leads the way. Dara Smith in second. Black Box there in third. Black Box has used up a lot of VOS though to gain on the back of these guys. Clearly feels like he's got the pace down the straight, but doesn't want to go for anything. And honestly, I think we're just going to run in a single car line, maybe down in towards turn 1 once again, maybe for good few laps just yet. And everyone, in terms of medium compound tyres, hard to medium strategy around here. Now, mediums, I would suspect will start going off the cliff around lap 12, lap 13, hards I should say, go off the cliff around lap 12, lap 13. And then we should see pit stops just before the halfway stage, from, I would say, lap 15, lap 16 onwards. 21 laps on a set of mediums is possible, but at a cost of puncture territory, which one of the GSP drivers, I think it was Grozny if I'm not mistaken, picked up a puncture very late on. In fact, it actually was the other GSP man last night. Can't remember off the top of my head who it was, but he picked up a puncture, and that was on 20 odd laps of medium compounded tyres. So probably the best strategy is for these guys, stay out a little bit longer and try and obviously make your opponent and your driver either ahead or behind come in the pit lane before you. As once again, coming through Peril Tarda for the 4th time, onto lap 5 we go. Rooty leads the way, Dara Smith in second, Black Box in third, Elliot there in 4th, and now chopping and changing in terms of fastest laps. Looks like we're going to get a move further up the field though. Neymar really struggling in terms of his pace. Makes look like a lame duck down the straight. Dalfi through and he's into 7th. Neymar there down into 8th, and Harry Banks now is going to get the job done on Felix Swan, potentially in towards turn 1, but Felix too late on the brakes. Surely has gone too deep. Harry Banks is on the outside line of him. Might get the job done here, Harry Banks. Gives him room, doesn't want to make contact with him. Hawk's in there as well, along with Tormentus. He's on the back, tucked in the rear wing. As Elliot's gone through, and Black Box just ahead there, fighting in towards turn number 4. But Harry Banks on the back of Felix 1 doesn't get the job done. There was a little bit of contact, I think, between Black Box and Elliot there. Elliot got forced off track potentially, and he's down in 4th position. No love lost between these two. They really do hate each other. It's personal between these both, as Lynx has picked up a 3-second penalty. Ruti just made a slight mistake, I think, through the S section. Dava's applying a bit of pressure on the back of him. And Black Box there in 3rd, Elliot down in 4th. As I say, I'm not sure what happened there, because we didn't see. I was too busy covering the Harry Banks Felix 1 battle, which I am now, because he's actually just gone around the outside of him in towards turn number 12. Job done. For Harry Banks, he's doing his into 9th, and Carl Mentalus wants to try and get on with things. He's got Hawk on the right underneath the rear wing of Hawk at this stage is Carl Mentalus. He comes through the right-hander now of turn number 16 at Peraltada. Ruti leads the way though. Darius Smith in 2nd, getting closer down in towards turn number 1. Carl Mentalus, I think, is going to try and eye up the move for Hawk here down in towards turn 1 as well. After Terry Man on the back of the horseman, I was going to say the Hassman. There in 11th, may as well be a horseman. But Carl Mentalus there in 12th. Trying to pick his lines, trying to pick his DRS and ERS zones to perfection. As Felix 1 tries to chase in Harry Banks once again, but everything is just a little bit of a lame duck. As I say at this stage, just a little bit on the tad of boring at this stage. This again made a mistake coming out of turn number 6. But 1/6 race distance. Ruti leads, Darius Smith in 2nd, Black Box in 3rd, Elliot in 4th, Lynx in 5th, Yona there in 6th, and it's Delphi, Neymar, Harry Banks, Felix 1, top 10, Hawk, Commensus, and falls of Brendan, top 13, who are still continuing on track. And again, Commensus right on the back of Hawk, shooting a good eye at this one, up in towards turn number 12. Hawk will realise that he's there. Commensus to the inside line, 2 former enemies in another league, now makes look like foes out on track. Commensus doing his into 11th. Hawk there in 12th. Good stuff, as I think we're going to maybe see a change for the race lead here. Dara on the back of Ruti, down in towards turn number 1. QLT man against the Scuderia Rosso man. Like a repeat of EML Premier last night. And Dara gets the job done down the straight and into the lead of the race. And Yona passes Lynx for 5th. And that is Elliot coming down the inside of Black Box in towards turn number 1. Tries to get the job done. Now for the outside of 2. He's still there. Black Box has given absolutely 0 inches of room. And Dara's ahead of Ruti. Elliot there is into 3rd. He gets the DRS open. Black Box has got DRS as well. And he's coming back with a bit of ERS to the inside line of turn number 4. Elliot's gone too deep. Black Box on the outside line. Might just try and go for the up and round. He's got the traction. Black Box is ahead. Elliot keeps his nose in. Ferrari man is still there. The AlphaTauri man is still there. These are the 2 championship leaders. Elliot around the outside. Black Box sticks his nose in on the inside. Still barely with to pass. Elliot forced off track there slightly. Black Box should have known better, I think, there. Elliot stands on to 3rd. Black Box in 4th. Yona in 5th. Championship leaders are having Fight Night Round 2 vibes, I think, at this stage. Elliot doing his into 3rd. Black Box there into 4th. And now Black Box, as Elliot slides his way in towards the Forest Soul. Elliot there in 3rd position. Doing a good job, but he's just got to keep it a little bit cool. Same with Black Box. Both of them have got to act quite cool at this stage. If they don't act cool and they make contact, it's their own doing. We want to give fair racing to everyone out on track. These guys are hopefully going to prove it tonight as again Black Box closing on Elliot down in towards turn number 1. The main championship fight once again in towards turn number 1. Black Box to the inside line. On Elliot tries to get the job done. Down the inside line. Now on the outside he switches back. And doesn't get the job done as Yona is under pressure from Lynx in behind as well. Fascinating battle between the 2 championship leaders. And again in towards turn number 4, not quite close enough. But this is what we like to see. 2 championship leaders that I really adore this season. They've been absolutely brilliant in terms of their racing. Going out at hammer and tongs for your entertainment, for my entertainment, and for everyone's entertainment. It is frankly good to see. And hopefully it's kept within the lines and the limits of the rules and regulations, because if not, and if it gets towards Hamilton and Verstappen sort of vibes, and Rosberg and Hamilton in 2016 Spain sort of vibes, then obviously we will have words to say as Hawk is spun coming to the S section of turn 10, and has deployed a safety car for no foot weighing of Hawk, I think that is. Yeah, no foot weighing for Hawk, safety car deployed. And now, what do they do? Are they coming in the pits? Dara is not in. That was wise thinking. I got duped last night by Louis. Not going to try me again there. as Yona was in. Interesting call by Yona. This, I only think this for a set of softs, going and then onto a set of mediums to the end for 2-stop. That's early. That is really early for mediums. Neymar is in, double stacking as well, just slightly. Mediums for him. Felix One mediums for him. Commensus onto a set of mediums, I think. Yeah, he's gone set of mediums. And in fact, everyone is in for a set of mediums. Hawk, I think, is going to come in to see for a wing change, and he's on a set of mediums. Now, as I said a little bit earlier on about the strategy call, medium compound size can only last you so long around this track, and 27 laps on a set of mediums is very much wishful thinking. It's the strategy that has worked in EML and in SRC on Tuesday as well, which I covered around here. It's the strategy that works. Going long into the race, going deep, having that advantage, and then letting everyone else catch you. Because basically, catching around this track is quite impossible if you've got nobody around you to actually catch. So, I think what the hard runners are relying on is for another safety car to come out, then it translates to field once again, and then the mediums basically are rendered useless of the drivers that have gone on to that compound tyre. Now, everyone on a set of hards will have to pit in, of course. They have got two choices, I think, at this stage. Pit early, go around midpoint of the race, go for a set of mediums, 18 laps, all doable, very doable, but you run yourself the risk of not catching the rest of the field. While as, if you go a little bit longer, to lap 29, lap 30, which is possible on these set of hards, I have seen it done before, these guys obviously will go to a set of soft compound tyres potentially out on track. So obviously, going to be interesting to see. I'm going to see if there's anybody else though on that mediums who's coming back in for another set of tyres. Hawk might potentially, if he does want to try something different. He has to stick to the Delta time though, which is a little bit ridiculous to be honest. Yeah, he stays out as well. Hawk staying out coming to the final corner. So everyone now out, lap 10 out of 36 if you're just tuning in and expecting F2. F2 not here tonight on the channel, once again due to commentator unavailability, and might be the case again next week if we can't find a commentator in then. But what I can say is that F1 has produced some really good action so far. Not really much contact, apart from maybe that Elliott and Black Box moment that we saw. Looking in the F2 chat, by the way, on Discord, Cam complaining about the curbs, which I think just comes to show how that's going. And Forza Brendan has left the session again. Forza Brendan leaving the session again. Now, he said to me a few weeks ago that his internet was playing up, and then it just magically fixed itself and he got it fixed. But I think it might be because of the weather there tonight in Ireland that is rendering his connection a little bit useless. Maybe he is on Guinness Wi-Fi, potentially. Who knows? Darren right on top. Ruti in second. Elliott down third as the safety car is already coming in this lap. And with that threat of rain, no wonder people have came in for that set of mediums. Because look at the track now. Over the track now is a lot of cloud. And that normally indicates we've got rain coming, perhaps in the next 10 to 15 minutes, I think. As Dara will want to get on with this. All of these guys in the set of hards, probably on the best tyre, if they were to go to the wet compounder tyre, for the Inters, you would imagine. Dara, now virtual Bermuda, now virtual safety car, coming out of Peril Tara, floors it out of Peril Tara. Great restart from Dara. Already puts 5/10 of a second away, and Black Box overtakes Elliott, I think, before the race line there, and Elliott has got back through. Here comes Dalfi, though, on the inside line. Yona's involved in this as well. There's Links on the outside line. There's 5 wide in towards turn number 1. Elliott, Dalfi, Black Box, Yona, widths apart. Keep it clean, guys, for goodness sake. Elliott on the outside of Dalfi tries to get the job done. Black Box is still in there with Yona. How on earth they've got through that is a testament to top-tier driving. Black Box then 5th. Yona still side by side with them though, down the straight towards turn number 4. This is not over and done with. Yona has to avoid Dalfi, breaking a little bit early, but manages to go around the outside. Yona making great progress through the field. He's doing his into 5th. Felix One now side by side with Links. He goes to the inside line as well. Should get the job done. And has got the job done. Absolute massacre in the background. Commences through on Neymar as well. Great restart by Ruti. Leads the way. Dara Smith is now in second. So Dara got caught up by that start as well. Ruti now leads. Dara in second. Elliott there in third. Dalfi in fourth. And now Yona to the inside on turn 12. And Dalfi tries to get the job done. Beautiful. Yona on the brakes. This is why he won here in Mexico last season. and wrapped up the championship, I think it was, last season as well, as Yona is through and he's into 4th. Dalfi in 5th, but can we just talk about full wide in towards turn 1 and not an inch of contact? That is testament to the driving standards of these guys on their best day. That's what we've seen, them on their best day. And now Felix 1 is going to try and make Black Box look quite ordinary. Down the straight in towards turn 1, Black Box is the real loser as a result of that restart. Elliot under pressure there from Yona ahead as well. Felix 1 tries to go to the inside line of Black Box. Championship leader, Felix 1, by the way, has already picked up a penalty, as has Forza Brendan just then. There's Harry Banks. Where's he come from? Harry Banks on the back of Felix 1. On the outside in toward turn 4. On the brakes, round the outside. Tries to get the job done for the inside line. Forces the Mercedes out wide. There's no option to go out wide through there. And Harry Banks gets the job done ahead of Felix 1. Great racing out on track. Harry Banks in 6th, Felix 1 in 7th. Somebody, I think, might need to pay for my funeral after this race, as the rain is still not falling down on track, where it's very, very cloudy at this moment in time. As Lucky Carmensis on the back of Lynx is going to absolutely lap this one up, potentially in towards turn number 12, in toward the Ferrasol. Carmensis on the outside line, just turns in slightly on Lynx. Lynx gets sent round slightly as well. Neymar now trying to get a little bit of ham and tongs. Lynx wants to try and fight every single inch of this track. A little bit aggressive from Lynx there, to be honest. And Neymar just absolutely turns him to the inside line, holds up Lynx, holds up Forza Brennan. Nobody to blame but himself, and he's got caught as well in a bit of a slide with Lynx. Forza Brennan, I think, is back into the quick lane for damage, as Yona is through and Elliot for 3rd as well. Yona to the inside line, Forza Brennan retires. Elliot down to 4th, Yona there in 3rd. But what I was saying about the driving standards, we're looking quite good up until that point. Neymar and Lynx just far too aggressive in their backslane. Lynx obviously defending the line. He was entitled to defend the position. Comensus now getting through on his teammate. Black Box is down to 9th. Black Box is in 9th. Elliot in 4th. At this stage in the point system, it's currently Elliot taking it to the final round of the championship by only a handful of points. That is what is on the line here. And Black Box, I'm not sure if he's got damage potentially, Black Box. I think he's struggling on that sort of hard. Or he's got some form of damage, and I think it's the latter. Black Box is struggling. He has got, I think, some sort of very light damage potentially on his car. Now, he'll probably correct me if I'm wrong a little bit later on. But look at the time he's losing as Dalfi is spun, coming through the Ferrasol, right in the middle of the Ferrasol in front of 100,000 fans. Dalfi spins on the inside curve, I think, and Black Box is losing a second. Carmentalist is quick on those tyres, and he's lost DRS to Carmentalist. He has lost DRS to Carmentalist. Big opportunity for Elliot now to gain extra positions ahead of him out on track, as Dower is picked up a 3-second penalty. He's right on the back of Ruti though. This is going to be a wall of attrition down in towards turn number 4. He pulls the outside line, actually dumping him to the inside line. Dower to the inside, tries it. Ruti nearly forced out wide there slightly. Dower tries the up and under. He's alongside him in towards turn number 6. Ruti will have to give him room. Dower, a little bit of contact on the inside line. Now for turn 7. Through the S's, the Lager we go once again. Ruti on the inside line. Dower around the outside. Gets the job done, maybe. Ruti side by side through the S section. Halfway battle. Dower job done. Ruti backs off. He gets the switch back and look at Yona. Yona now on these side of mediums. Back into play. Needs to take this very cautiously indeed. He backs off and now Ruti tries to go around the outside of Dower once again. Now for the inside of turn 13 into the World of Ferrasol. Gets the job done, Ruti. Great battle. And now look at everyone now being let in. Elliot, Harry Banks, Felix Swan, Commensus. Welcome to the party, my friends. Lap 15 out of 36. Ruti leads. Elliot is into the pit lane. So that would be for a set of medium compound tyres. Here comes Jonah though on the back of Dower. Dower on the back of Ruti, who is an absolute sitting duck down the straight. Yona now pulls the inside line as well. Might try and defend this Ruti. Doesn't. Yona through and he's into second. Dower into the lead. 2 positions lost for the price of 1. And he's just made a mistake there as well, Ruti. And now he's got his teammate on the back of him on a set of medium compound tyres as well. His car mentalist is on the back of Felix Swan as it's now raining out on track down in towards turn number 4 here in Mexico. So the rain now falling. This race taking many twists and turns for the championship more importantly. But Elliot, because I thought he was going to go on a set of mediums, totally forgot that I was going to go to wet compound tyres. He's gone for a set of inters early. That is the wrong call, I think, at this stage, as Yona now picks up a 3-second penalty. Out on track, trying to chase down Dara for the lead of this race. Dara the leading the way, Yona in second, Ruti there in third. Commentator's now on the back of Felix 1 to the inside line. Doesn't want to try and risk this. Maybe they'll get told soon whether to come in the pit lane or not. Commentator's tries to go around the outside now on Felix 1. Doesn't get the job done. Holds on to position there, the NLR man. As Dara stays out, Yona stays out, Ruti, Harry Banks, in fact all the top 6 stay out, Blackbox stays out as well, Dalphy and Hawk are staying out, as is Lynx, as is Neymar, who's in the bit. So Neymar in, and now Yona attacks for the race lead to the outside line, from one Red Bull to the other, goes around the outside, turn number 1, job done for Yona, now into the lead. Commentless there in 5th position. Currently, as it stands now, with Elliot pitting in a lot earlier than expected in that set of inters, who's already had a Neymar, as you would expect, as Dara's trying to fight Yona in towards turn number 4, tries to go around the outside. Yona shuts the door on him, holds on for the lead of the race for now, becoming increasingly now damp and dreary and greasy out on track as well. And this is the real part of the compound where the drive will begin to drop off, but it all depends on how many laps we're going to have for wet running. At this stage, it looks like we're going to have half the race for wet running, but these dry, it still looks dry out on track. It still looks relatively dry. There's not really much rain falling on the track surface. Now coming through the Forest Soul, it looks a little bit more greasy. Oh, it's Harry Banks. Tries to go for Ruti down the inside line. Teammates and all. Oh, it's Ruti spun. Ruti spins, easy job, Harry Banks through, and Hawker's spun. Hawker's crashed, coming through turn 12, I think that is, in through the Forasol, and that is everyone in the pit. Safety car deployed. Safety car deployed. We'll go on board with Elliot. Everyone now going for a set of inters. There he is, outside curb that is, turn 12, spun the car, too much. Hawk out of the race as Lynx has picked up a 5-second penalty for collision with Dalphy into the pit. Everyone now transitioning onto a set of inters. Who does this help more importantly? It doesn't help Elliot because he has to stick for Delta time and he has to basically stop out on track. Yona keeps the lead. Dara in second, Harry Banks in third, Commentus in fourth. It's definitely going to be Inters by the end of this qualifying. And there is Elliot. And look who he is ahead of. That man there, Blackbox. Everything is coming back between these two. It's quite remarkable to see. Yona leads the way, Dara in second, Harry Banks there in third. If you are enjoying the stream, by the way, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new here. Funky Chicken saying Yona says the pen can be removed if he doesn't get a warning. That is the case, but I will go on Race Director. I never do this. Oh, as I can't go on Race Director for some reason. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let's have a look then at Race Director. And Yona already had picked up a 1 on lap 1 for exceeding track limits. And then again on lap 3 for exceeding track limits. So that is where the penalty has come from with Yona. And Ivan's saying, Yona comments it's a really big chance of winning here tonight. They were flying here in EML Premier 2 last night. I think they finished 4th or 5th. 4th and 5th, I think they finished in EML Premier 2. I had a look at the results a little bit earlier on. And I think it was EML... I think it was 4th and 5th, or 5th and 6th. It was in the mid-pack of the top 10. I know that for a fact. But yeah, everyone now on a set of intermediate compounder tyres. Who is going to be favoured potentially off this restart? Elliot, you would imagine, on those 2-lap younger tyres, or 2-lap warmer tyres, however you look at it. He is going to be much fresher towards the end of this race as Lynx is in to the pits once again. And this is going to be for fresh set of inters. And 5-second penalty, obviously, for that collision with Dalphy. So, obviously, to get it removed, the Google Chrome tyres go on. And Lynx now back, coming out the pit lane down from the 11th position. May as well get rid of the safety car, the 5-second penalty, because otherwise it would have been on this time at the end of the race. Chicken saying as well, says it was forced wide on one of them. If that was the case, it might have been lap 2. It might have been lap 2 where we got forced wide, or where we picked up the 3-second penalty. I think it was through turn 7, but I don't think he got forced out wide through there. I think it might have been lap 2. Going back, as I say, I haven't got a replay cam on. Chris saying in the chat as well, who needs to outscore who with the championship? Basically, think of it this way. Black Box, as long as he outscores that man there ahead of him, Elliot, he wins the championship tonight, no matter what position he finishes in. And with a minimum points now of 9 available, this means Black Box is pretty much crowned champion. Elliot at this stage is not doing enough to wrap up to take it to the final race. He's 34 points behind coming into tonight. There is only 31 points available after tonight's racing, because otherwise, yeah, 31, am I right? Yeah, 30 points for the win. First, the fastest lap Paul gets as well. It's a little bit complicated. Hopefully I've explained that well, but Elliot just needs to outscore Black Box. He remains in championship fight. Black Box, though, as long as he outscores Elliot, he has won the championship tonight. As Yona wants to get on with things, coming through Peraltada, Virtual Bermalander is now in, and Yona already goes, and look at the gap he's left him behind. Harry Banks, Carl Mensless, Harry Banks especially, caught sleepwalking coming through Peraltada, and now Carl Mensless is right on the back of him in towards turn number 1. Clearly got a much stronger speed set up down the straight. Carl Mensless to the inside line of turn number 1. Harry Banks, much later on the brake side, tries to come in all the way around the outside. Former TML champion against Carl Mensless, maybe a future TML champion. Hang on there slightly. Harry Banks cuts him up, and I think he's going to be very annoyed with that Carl Mensless there in fourth. Harry Banks, give as good as you're giving, I think, there. Black Box now on the back of Elliot. It's going to be very interesting indeed. He switches to the inside line. Need to get the job done. Obviously, halfway through the race, still halfway to go. Black Box around the outside of Elliot. Elliot on the inside line. It'll give him as much room as he needs. And Black Box forced out wide slightly. Now with the traction, Elliot's going to give him absolutely no room, and a Black Box is very coy to the idea. He'll just wait him behind, and that's exactly what he does. Yona leads the way, Darren second, Harry Banks in third. Harry Banks, as I said, caught absolute sleepwalking off the line, off the safety car restart, and he now begins to gain. Oh, there's a moment in the background. I think that was Lynx potentially running wide there. In 10th position, he's got Neymar to 10 with right on the back rim. Penalty situation, by the way. I haven't run it through. Lynx has just picked up a penalty. Now 6 seconds. Yona on 3, Dara 3, Felix 1 on 3, Dalfi on 3, Lynx on 6, Neymar on 3. That is the penalties rundown on the left-hand side of your screen, as Ruti is getting very close to Felix 1 down the straight. Felix struggling in terms of his pace potentially. Down in towards turn number 1, the Aston Martin comes right on the back of the Mercedes to the inside line of turn number 1. Ruti on the inside line. Felix 1, to be fair, held it around the outside, and that is good stuff from Felix 1. Holds it around the outside, still in 5th position. As Ruti will try again, down in towards turn number 4. This time it looks like he's got it. Look at the speed of Ruti. Absolutely shot out of a cannon to the inside line of turn number 4. Felix 1 again, much deep this time, and Ruti's got the job done. He's into 5th. And now look to switch back in behind, because Elliot's involved in this as well, and he goes for the inside move on Felix 1. Talk about barging your opponent out the way to try and get the job done. That's exactly what he's done. It's a hit and run from Elliot there, as Felix 1 nearly hits him in the back as well. But Elliot there in 6th, struggles on the curb there slightly. Felix 1 really struggling, and now Black Box has got 2 cars to gain ahead of his championship rival. 1 car to gain ahead of his championship rival, and then he's on the back of him, of course. That was a little bit forceful. Not the first time we've seen it from Elliot this season. It's not the last time I think we'll see it this season as well, for a forceful move like that. But there is a barge to pass, or push to pass, however you say it, and I think, personally for me, that was a push to pass, and stewards may look at that, obviously, to get the move done. Felix 1 obviously had to give him room. Gave him, I think, adequate amounts of room. As commenters now going to pass Felix 1 down the straight in towards turn number 1. This job done for... sorry, Black Box, I have to say, not commenters. Commenters have been 4th. Black Box through, and he's into 7th. And Lynx is putting it down the inside line of Dalfi as well, coming through turn number 1. Now to the left-hander 2, to the Essa de Largo at turn number 3. And Lynx doesn't want to get the job done. That's what Elliot should have done, really. Backed off the move, and then try again, down in towards, this time, with this situation, down in towards turn number 4. But again, Dalfi takes the middle ground, takes the inside line, defends position, holds on to 9th, and doing a good job so far, Dalfi, even with his penalties. As Darius Smith now beginning to pick up the pace in behind Yona for the race lead, lap 21 out of 36. Hope you are enjoying the stream at this stage. And if you are, of course, do like, comment, subscribe, click that notification bell if you're new, and that is crucial. what has just popped up on your screen and on my screen as well, Elliott has picked up a 3-second penalty. Black box at the minute seems fine, but I know from looking at the race director a little bit earlier on, I know for a fact, I think he has got a warning somewhere, I think in the early few laps. So Black box has got to be careful not to extend track limits too much, otherwise he's going to be in a whole deep of trouble. As speaking of track limits, Neymar's picked up another penalty out of the back of the field. That's now 6, I think, for Neymar. Lap 22 out of 36. The time is now nearly 9 o'clock here in the UK. Nearly time to see Matt Hancock drown himself in a hole full of octopuses and whatever else his trial is going to entail tonight in I'm a Celeb. Dalfi, in the meantime, though, probably won't care about I'm a Celeb as much as people probably won't care in the stream either. Dalfi on the back of Felix 1, down the straight in towards set over 4. He's not going to get the job done. He's not close enough at this point. But yeah, interesting battles going on. Elliott and Black Box. Black Box just seems to be struggling tonight. I don't know what it is with his rhythm. He just seems like at the end of lap 1 even, just seems to be struggling. Obviously had that fight with Elliott a little bit earlier on in the race. That's put him on the back foot. And currently, as it stands, he's outscoring him with Elliott's penalty. Elliott, of course, after this race, could look and get that removed into the stewards, because, I mean, 3-second penalty not normally moves. Felix 1 is round in the background of the shot. That's coming through the SA section. And Neymar has gone way too deep, coming through turn 11, making a break maybe toward the North American border. Felix 1 again struggling. Big snap of oversteer there. Neymar in a 10th. Felix 1 and 11. To be fair, fighting back, and Neymar tries to take the much deeper line, and yeah, he's in the pits. Felix 1 in the pits, not surprising. I think he must have damage on that car after spinning through the S section, and he pretty much now, I think, out of contention, may retire the car in the pit lane. Yeah, Elliott as it stands, back to my point, Elliott in 6th position, is currently outscoring Black Box out on track, but because of the 3-second penalties, Black Box there in 7th is outscoring Elliott. So it comes back to that age-old question, Black Box will win the championship as it stands out on track, but if he picks up a 3-second penalty, then once again, it is even between them both. So that is the big battle that we are going to be looking at in terms of the timings out there, as well as Yona still under pressure from Dara Smith out in front. The Red Bull has handled the pressure very well indeed. He loves the intermediate conditions, Yona, normally. Mexico and him and intermediate seem to go very, very well together. And that's exactly what they're doing at this stage in the race. But again, Dara Smith, as Dalfi is retired. Dalfi out of the race, through the S section, and Neymar nearly follows him. Neymar nearly follows him, just about keeps it out of the wall. He doesn't, unfortunately. White side plate damage on the car. And Neymar, and that is a VSC. VSC deployed, and I think that was actually for Neymar's front wing, rather than for Dalfi's spin, weirdly. But Neymar in the wall, white side plate damage on the car, Dalfi out of the race, in the wall, through the SA section on the exit of turn 11. And that is him now out of the race. And one less position, potentially, and a few extra points, actually, for Elliott and Black Box to worry about as well, as Neymar is in the pits. Felix 1 at the back of the field. Neymar has retired in the pit lane as well. I mean, why retire? There's 11 points available. He's a league director. He should know better. There is 11 points available for 9th. And he's just given those 11 points to Felix 1. I don't really get drivers' mindsets, to be honest, on this game. It's happened even in the past, but still in the VSE conditions, by the way. It happens in the past. I'm not being entirely critical of these guys, but there. Oh, is that Ruti has picked up a drive-through penalty. Ruti picks up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car, as has Yona. Yona has picked up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car as well. I'm not sure if it's picked up on his screen. Certainly didn't flick up on ours. Ruti's got a 3-second penalty as well. It's going for bad and worse for Ruti. But Yona has picked up a drive-through penalty as well. He is going to be absolutely livid with the game. Probably only a mile or 2 miles an hour over the limit. But the game does punish it like that. Yona probably is going to come straight in the pit lane, serve this up, get back on the road, and that's exactly what he's doing. As Dara Smith slowed down, thinking, what on earth is he doing? He had a drive-through penalty. That's what he was doing. Ruti in the pit lane as well. He's had a drive-through penalty. And Black Box is on the back of Elliott down in towards turn number 1, and he's coming from an absolute mile back. But he's not going to get the job done, I don't think, in towards turn number 1. Darryl Smith leading the way, Harry Banks in second, Clementos in third, Elliott there in fourth. Elliott, as it stands, is taking, I think, the fight to the final round of the championship, as it stands, coming at the end of tonight's race. As it stands. But remember, 3-second penalty. If that doesn't get removed, Elliott is behind Black Box. Black Box wins the title. So Elliott, ideally, no matter what happens, I think, in this race, has got to put that 3-second penalty in. Otherwise, the appeal in for that 3-second penalty. Otherwise, it's game over. It is game over there. But yeah, really, really interesting stuff out on track as Clementos tries to chase down Harry Banks for P2. This could be actually for the race lead, because Dava didn't really have good pace compared to Elliott ahead of him at the time. Elliott, by the way, on 10-lap tyres, everyone else is on 8-lap apart from Lynx, who's on 7, and Felix 1 on 2. And a reminder about the points coming in tonight. It's 33 points. 33 points, the gap. I think that was actually wrong on the standings, what I had up a little bit earlier on. I'm just going to check that. No, it was 33 points. Yeah, so 33 points. As it stands, with the rules and regs, if that 3-second penalty is going to be removed, there is a chance that it's going to be down to the final race of the season. Might not even go down to the final race of the season. Currently, as it stands, they're out on track, with the rain getting a lot heavier now out on track as well. The heavens have really opened. Maybe full wet tyres before the end from a few people. But Black Box on the back of Elliott. As I say, after this race, that 3-second penalty gets removed. Elliott will keep in title contention, even by the very narrowest margin, by like a point or 2 points, I think it'll be at this point. Black Box there, in 5th position. If that 3-second penalty doesn't get reported, that 3-second penalty doesn't get removed, or Elliott DNFs, then Black Box is crowned champion of season number 8 of TML. As, yeah, just to run through the point system, so currently 17 points is what Elliott will be getting. Black Box on 15. 2-point advantage, 31 points it would be. So it is literally borderline. Mathematically, he could still do it, given Black Box could absolutely have a atrocious race last week and next week in Abu Dhabi. DNFs, Elliott wins, he wins the championship with fastest lap. That is the only permutation going into next week as Black Box locks up in toward turn number 1. That's a really big mistake from Black Box. Errors creeping in from the championship leader. And this is exactly what Elliott wanted. Now the gap from what would have been around 6/10 is now 1.4 seconds. So Elliott there in 4th, Black Box there in 5th. Now under a sustained pressure. He's got 2-lap younger tyres. They will come into play towards the end, but only at the end as Felix 1 into the pits. This surely is for full wet conditions. It is. Full wet tyres going on Felix 1, and this will be the biggest indicator. Is it full wet? Is it inters? It's still barely a dry line coming through the S section. But intermediate compounded tyres on a wet track, on a full wet track, is going to cause all hell of problems as Lynx has ran wide in the background there. Just about keeps it off the circuit. And now Elliott's made a mistake. Black Box is back within 4 tenths and actually is side by side with him into the Forest Soul. Elliott really struggling. These 2-lap older tyres blistering now for the Inters. Dava leads. Harry Banks in 2nd. Clementos in 3rd. The skill level's now going crazy as Lynx right on the back of these guys as well. Felix 1, in terms of his pace to Ruti, is not too bad at this stage. He's coming through turn number 4 now. Those tyres won't be warmed up yet, but I think it is full wet. It is. It is full wet compounded tyre out on track as Ruti decides to come in and retire. What's the point? Ruti retires into the pit lane. He's got Felix 1 45 seconds behind him. He would have came out the pit lane 20 seconds ahead. In a bit of no man's land, put on a full set wet of tyres. Full wet compounded tyre. and then fly away through the field. That's mad. That's a mad decision. Felix Swan has gained around 0.8 of a second, I think, at this stage on Ruti. In fact, actually, the gap has gone out, so maybe it's not the case as Black Box has been overtaken by Lynx. Lynx has been overtaken. Lynx overtakes Black Box. Black Box clearly struggling. Not sure if he made a mistake. Lynx has picked up a 3-second penalty. This race is going now. Hell for leather. Felix Swan is now 52 seconds behind, by the way, and I don't think it is full wet conditions out on track. But yeah, Dara Smith leading the way, 3 seconds, borderline at this stage for Dara. Harry Banks in second, Commentus there in third. Is anybody going to be inspired to go full wet? Elliot is. Elliot into the pit lane. Black Box stays out. This is a game changer potentially in terms of the championship. Black Box now ahead. Elliot has got to hope this rain continues to fall. He has also got to hope that Black Box spins or DNFs or something out on track for him to get back into this race. The gap is going to be around 20 seconds, I think, on the exit of the pit lane here. Coming out of the pit lane now, Lynx. Elliot coming out of the pit lane. The gap is around about 20 seconds. It's just underneath that, I think. It's 19 seconds. 19 seconds the gap. 20 seconds. Elliot banking its full wet. That is crucial. That is absolutely crucial. But then if Black Box goes full wet, what's he going to do? As already you can tell. Elliot. I know he's got Yona in front of him. But Yona there in 6th. Elliot there in 7th. It is minimising the very low throttle at this stage. It looks like it's full wet. Felix Swan is just struggling on these wets, I think. But now Elliot getting up to temperature, getting up to tyres. Anybody watching the stream might be thinking, these guys have surely got to come in on a set of inters. They could stay out as Darren Needy goes for the spin. Coming through the final couple of corners. Oh, I like that slightly. Apologies about that if you saw that on the stream. Harry Banks commenter staying out. Lynx is also staying out. Black Box is staying out as well. And this again, Banks on Elliot, trying to gain on Black Box and Yona. At this moment in time, the gap is now just under 18 seconds, so he's gained already a second over this last lap. Elliot is flying. Well, I wouldn't say he's flying on these wets, it's full wet conditions, but Elliot is going well on these full wet compounder tyres. Black Box in a bit of no man's land. Yona's only 7 seconds up the road. That 7 seconds is going to whistle itself down very quickly indeed. So Elliot has got a chance, albeit a very slim one, to still be in this championship fight with 6 laps to go. The time suggests not the case, as Felix Swan has spun coming through the F section. The amount of time he's got to gain suggests that he's not going to do it. Remember Neymar though? Imola, Season 7, or Season 6 even, in F2. That is what we should be expecting as Felix Swan again has gone backwards. The puddles off track just indicate it's full wet conditions. But Felix Swan the exception rather than the rule. And look at Elliot through even the right-hander there. Yona is struggling. Yona is really struggling out on track. Felix Swan again goes for a spin. He's parked off a Peraltada. And is he going to let the leaders through? I think he is. He gets going ahead of Harry Banks. Yeah, comes in the pit lane. This will be a retirement, I think, for Felix Swan. He's got maybe a little bit of slight damage there as well. But Elliot, 4.2 seconds behind, down to 7. Down to 7 out on track. And the gap is now, all of a sudden, 13 seconds between Black Box and Elliot. At this rate, Elliot, as it stands, if everyone stays out on track, Elliot is only 24.6 seconds off the lead. If he's gained 4 seconds last lap around, God knows how much time he's going to gain over the next 6 laps. He is basically, if he's got a chance of winning this race, which I think now is becoming increasingly likely, if these tyres really come into play, if he knows these tyres outside, look at the gap he's just gained coming out of the corner there on Yona. He's gained 5 tenths, 6 tenths, down in towards turn number 4. And Yona's off track as well ahead. Elliot is gaining. Gap now, 23.8. Gap has come down a second to the leader. Dara Smith leading the way. Harry Banks in second. All of these guys are going to be making mistakes ahead. Elliot is 23.6 seconds behind. This is nail-biting stuff, quite literally. Here in Mexico, 23.2, 23.1. Gap still coming down. Coming through the S section. Much quicker through the S section than everyone on the set of inters. 22.8. Everyone on the set of inters have gambled to stay out there and hold on for the gap. While as Elliot is now within a second of Yona, on the back of him already, and Yona goes nearly for a spin there, and Elliot's on the back of him. And this is going to be easy. Yona realises it's too late. He's in the pits. He might retire in this race as well. Yona in the pits. Too late, my friend. Elliot now 21.9 off the lead. So he's gained enough. He's gaining enough at this stage to even consider getting a podium. 8 seconds now to Black Box. Watch that gap come down in the coming stages of this race. I know I'm being biased towards Elliot, but he's on a full set when it compared tyres. He's just gained 0.8 of a second on Black Box alone, gaining a second now, coming out of turn number 3, in towards turn number 4. These interrunners, it's getting heavier and heavier and heavier this rain. And at this intensity, this rain still falling, wetting the track even more. Full set of wet compound tyres right to the end of this race, even if it stops raining now. And Elliot has got a chance of winning this race. Mark my words right here. He has got a chance of winning this race. And he's only, more importantly for the championship, 5.6 seconds behind Black Box. As I say, if Elliot outscores Black Box with this point score, if he stays 5th, Black Box is in 6th, and Elliot gains that time, Elliot will not take it to the final round of the championship. He has got to pick up the pace now. He has got to really pick up the pace. As Yona, by the way, is completely glitched in terms of the timings on my end. I apologise about that. Dara, though, leading the way. Harry Banks in second, and Dara. Something has gone off with Dara coming to the S section there of turn number 3. Thought he had a puncture for a second there, but I don't think he had. I think it's a big mistake, though, for the race leader. Really big mistake for the race leader. Yona's interval timings have fixed themselves now, which is good. 18.1, 17.9. Gap still coming down. Elliot's not going to win the race, but he could get Black Box before the end and gain 3 seconds. That is what is needed for Elliot to still stay within championship fight, and also past Lynx as well. There's Dara Smith and Harry Banks are 0.5 of a second away from each other. The Mercedes man really struggling. The former TML champion now, right underneath his rear wing. And we've only got 3 laps to go in what could turn out to be the craziest 3 laps you'll ever see in TML history as it goes deep in towards turn 13 in the Ferrosol. Harry on the back of Dara, still hanging on. Dara after that big mistake coming through turns 1, 2 and 3 last time around. Rain is easing up out on track, I can report though. Rain is easing off slightly. Dara leading the way. Harry Banks in second. Harry's not close enough. Dara drains the ERS. That is why he's gaining down the straight. He tries to gap him for a second. Black Box and Elliot is going to be the main battle to watch. The puddles on the right-hand side indicate it's full wet compounded tyres, and Black Box is trying to defend thin air at this stage. Elliot is on the back of him running down in towards turn number 1. We've still got 2.5 laps to go. But Elliot needs a smooth to land himself within 1 chance of holding on to the championship mathematically. 0.7 of a second away. Inters are now beginning to come back into play though. Rain is easing. Inters are coming back into play. The track surface is drying. And this could be bad news for Elliot, because he's got 5 seconds again on Lynx as well. He's not going to think about going for a move here with turn 6 as he... Oh, he thinks about it. He tries to force Black Box out the way, coming through turn 6. Not really sure what he's doing, to be honest, there. Black Box, though, in 5th, and Elliot picks up another penalty, and that might just be it. As he tries to go all the way around the outside of turn 9. This is brilliant stuff. Elliot gets the jump done on Black Box. In absolutely mad scenes. Elliot through and he's into 5th. Black Box there in 6th. Black Box held that as much as he could. Fair play to him. As long as he stays within 6 seconds, though, championship is going back to him. This is mad. This is an unbelievable race. Elliott, by the way, off the leader, is only 13.9 seconds away. But as I say, the rain is easing out on track, and the Inters are coming back into play before the end, even though, marginally, it's still full wet. But he's got to gain 6 seconds now in black box. He's not going to gain links, I think, with 2 laps to go. Dara leading the way. Harry Banks in second. Commensalist now in third, and Commensalist all of a sudden is in with an opportunity of winning this race. With those penalties ahead, Commensalist might just be a race winner in TML this season. Coming through the right-hander of turn number 5 now. This is on-the-seat stuff. On-the-seat stuff here in Mexico. Who said Mexico couldn't deliver with 7 drivers still going at the end of this race? Obviously disappointing for quite a few. Darren Smith leading the way, Harry Banks in second, Commensalist in third. I think everything is just setting itself down now out on track. It looks like it might be done onto the final lap of this race. But yeah, Darren, Harry, Commensalist, top 3 as it stands. Elliott is not, and I repeat, not going to be in the championship fight, and it's going to be black box to the checkered flag to win the championship, even with 6 seconds worth of penalties, which of course, if I was Elliott, I'd be investigating them. Here comes Harry Banks on the back of Dara, running down the straight. One last gasp opportunity, potentially, for Harry Banks. Is not going to be close enough in towards turn number 1, but he's done an awesome job in this race. Same with Dara as well. Dara, to be fair, since that safety car restart, the first one, has took this race by the scruff of the neck, and he has done a fantastic job. I know him and Harry probably are in the same party at this stage. They are probably going to be egging each other on, but it's Commensalist, the one. Oh, as Harry absolutely locks up on the brakes there, nearly locked up into the back of Dara. Commensalist, as I say, with that 3-second penalty. 9 seconds for Dara, 3 seconds for Harry. He is going to win this race. It's gone a little bit anticlimactic, to be honest, this race. Elliott, as I say, not gaining now. The Inters are coming back into play towards the end. But Dara has done a stunning job. No matter if he doesn't win this race out on track, he has done a phenomenal job in this race. Harry in second as well has done a phenomenal job as well. And now they come through the Ferrosol, in towards the Ferrosol for the final time. Dara, the Mercedes man, against the Aston Martin of Harry Banks, coming through in towards the Ferrosol again. Harry late on the brakes. Not going to get the job done. It's only going to go one way, I think, and it's going to be that man in P3. Dara around the final corner. He's done it the hard way, right from the front. Dara Smith to the line, takes the win on track, but it's Commensalist who takes the win on penalties. Harry Banks in second, Dara there in third, Links in fourth, Elliott in fifth, and coming around the final corner, TF Black Box has also gained fourth and is now your Season 8 TML F1 champion in what has got to be said was pretty hard work for the championship leader. Now crowned champion. Elliott can put in those 6 seconds worth of penalties if he wants to. Yona now sprinting himself towards the line. He's going to take donuts, I think, for Black Box as he now races towards the line at a very slow snail's pace. Yona to the line, finishing there in 7th. Only 7 finishes in the race. But who said Mexico couldn't deliver? As I say, a bit into anticlimactic at the end there. But Commensalist takes the race win and gets Driver of the Day, awarded by the in-game fans. And to be honest, that's the sort of face I'd pull after I've won 36 laps here in Mexico. But we wait now on the podium celebrations to begin. There's not going to be any interviews because my voice is going, obviously, on a solo commentary. It's taking a lot out of me. Commensalist, though, from WR Co-Coms to a race win here in TML F1 as he does a very funky looking dance, I've got to say. Maybe doing the Egyptian there, don't blame him. But Commensalist is a race winner in TML F1. A fantastic job from him. Great stuff from Dara. He's probably, he finished in the end in third somehow. Harry Banks got second, Dara there in third with 9 seconds worth of penalties. But Dara, for me, gets Driver of the Day, awarded by the in-game fans. After that first safety car restart, there was no looking back from him. The Mercedes man, for me, takes Driver of the Day. But a fantastic race from Commensalist. In the end, penalties were the order of the day. took fastest lap as well, so 31 points for car mentalist gives AlphaTauri, I believe, the championship lead as well in the constructors. Ahead of Ferrari, because Ferrari only had one driver in Elliott and he finished 6th. Car mentalist takes the win, Harry Banks in 2nd, Darragh in 3rd, car mentalist in, Black Box I should say in 4th, Lynx in 5th, Elliott in 6th, Yona 7th, Felix 1 in 8th. These are all the DNFs from this point onwards. Felix, Routine, Neymar, Dalfi, Hawk and Forza Brendan all DNFing at various points in the race. Some more disappointing than the others, and surely with points available and on the line, you should know better than that. And in terms of the poll, in terms of the polls that happened a little bit earlier on, 40% of you said Black Box for pole position. In the end, it was Ruti. Ruti was nowhere near the race win here tonight. And Black Box, 89% of you. Apparently, YouTube doesn't understand where the final 1% has gone. But Black Box takes championship win, takes the pole win as well. A fantastic race from Black Box. Of course, we'll give him an interview next week when everything is confirmed. Of course, it's all provisional at this stage. And speaking of next week, only one more race to go until season number 9. And you'll want to be in the Discord probably over the weekend, because there are going to be some announcements coming regarding TML and regarding season number 9. And I cannot be explicitly say any more than that. Yas Marina, though, final round of the championship in Abu Dhabi, 17th of November, I should say. Round number 12 is going to be very good to watch. And, as well, F3 and F4 coming up tomorrow night. F3, it is due to be Ivan Tonchik in the commentary box. I hope he is going to be there. I hope so. If he is, I'm on a break week for WR this week, so there is a big possibility that you will see not only OBS graphics for one of the lower tiers, but also you will see me in the commentary box potentially tomorrow night. As I say, it will be a spur-of-the-moment thing. It'll probably be decided on the day, so I can't really give you much. If I am there, probably more will be for F3 if Ivan's not there than for F4. Oh, that was a crazy race, though. Crazy ending. We've got one more round to go in Abu Dhabi, round 12 of the championship. We're going to leave you, of course, with our intermission from our sponsors, of course, Next Level Racing. I've been James Head. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.